Okay, looks like folks are done trickling in, so we'll go ahead and get started this afternoon. Hi, everyone. My name is Paige Richardson. I'm the Director of QSF Operations here at Milestone. We specialize in post-settlement administration and distribution. And I have some other lovely panelists here with me this afternoon. Claude, take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Paige. It's good to see you again. Good to see my other panelists as well. Michael, always a pleasure, and Sam, same here. It's great for you to join us this afternoon. We have Paige has lined up for you an absolute amazing program to help guide you with some of the things that we're seeing in the industry and some of the trends that we will talk about. Just to give you a quick update on where I'm from, my company is SmartAdvocate. It's the premier case management system out there. And of course, for those of you who are listening, are in the market for a case management system or want to learn how to use or make better use of the one you have currently, we're going to share some of that information for you today. SmartAdvocate has been around for perhaps 2 decades. So it's been around for a long time. It was developed from the ground up as a case management system by attorneys and paralegals. So it's not one of those that, you know, it's pieced together, but from the get-go, it was developed by people in the legal industry. And it, of course, had the capabilities to use it in any type of practice, including single event, mass tort, and so on. So we will share some of the information with you today, and of course, some additional information with respect to how you can use your current case management system more efficiently.
Michael, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Michael McCready. I've got my main office is in Chicago, but we've got offices throughout Illinois and Indiana. I run a single event practice, but I utilize a lot of technology in what we do, especially when it comes to client communication and throughout the whole process. So, you know, I'm looking forward to being a part of the panel and hearing also from my other panelists.
And Miss Samantha Katen.
Hello, it's nice to see everybody again. I mimic what Claude said. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm actually extremely excited about this panel. I am a partner at AWKO or AilStack with Increase and Overholts. Our firm predominantly works through MDL work, or rather mass tort litigation, both in MDL and class. So we do with a lot of large scale communications with thousands of clients at a single opportunity. So technology is our friend and something that we are readily willing to use to make our lives and everybody else's lives a lot easier. We have actually launched our own platform for case management as well and client communication, and that's something much like Claude that I'll speak to as well. But I'm just really excited that this is an area that people are starting to talk more about. It is becoming more prevalent and the use across the board in most law firms. So I think it's wonderful. If used appropriately and well, I think it could be an amazing tool for everybody and really make the lives of both lawyers and clients so much better.
Yep. I'm excited to hear more about the way that y'all have applied both of your technologies in your different practices. So to that end, the way that we want to structure this webinar today for everyone is more of a discussion format. We want to open up the floor and just have an open discussion around technology, the trends that we're seeing in the space. Michael, Sam, the way that you both have implemented technology into your practices and the positives that you've seen as a result of that. So starting with you, Michael, if you'll talk us through the way that you utilize the SmartAdvocate platform and other technological advancements in your firm and how they've positively impacted you.
All right, sure. You know, my firm does use SmartAdvocate, but as far as I'm concerned, SmartAdvocate is just a tool. It's how you use it and what kinds of things it's capable of doing, and that's where my practice has kind of gone. We use it for constantly communicating with our clients. We found that most client complaints are that you don't hear from your lawyer enough. And what we've done is, through SmartAdvocate, created text message chains that keep clients up to date with everything that happens in their case. We're over communicating with them, sometimes our clients say. But, for example, in a single event practice, it started with when you settle the case, no matter how long you tell the client the check's going to be 30 days, we get a call after a week. And the next day, is my check there? Is my check there? Is my check there? And so the first thing that we started is a series of, I think it's 7 or 8 texts that go out over a period of 30 days. So when we mail the release to an adjuster, it says, hey, we mailed it to the adjuster. You can expect a check within 30 days. A week goes by. Hey, it's been a week. We've already mailed it. We're not expecting it. 10 days, another text. 12 days, 14 days, 21 days. And so we took that concept of client communication with that specific problem that we were having and applied it throughout the entire life cycle of the firm. And so we're sending automated texts, which are all triggered by certain events that happen, and keeping clients up to date with the status of their case completely automated. And what that has allowed us to do is it has freed up our case managers and our paralegals and our attorneys to communicate with the clients on very specific issues. We're not having to call the client to update them that we're still waiting for medical records, for example, or that we're waiting to hear from the insurance adjuster on a demand. So we've automated all that communication, and whether your goal is to scale or stay the where you are, these automations help your practice run a lot smoother, a lot more efficiently, and and it's been a game changer for us.
Excellent. What relative to the SmartAdvocate platform, so you described the text message automation, and know that we've briefly discussed like your intake process and how your automation can start even before your intake starts. Do you utilize SmartAdvocate in other ways outside of the text automation?
Oh yeah, sure. So our intake process, most of the places that we get leads from are all integrated into SmartAdvocate through an API. So for example, somebody will fill out a chat form or a web form on our website. That information is automatically imported into SmartAdvocate. The case is already opened up. The data that's been filled out on the form has already been pre-populated. But then our automation start is that as soon as that case is opened, a text goes out to that client. Thanks for reaching out. Someone from our firm will contact you, shortly. The intake department will then go and do their thing. If we can't reach them, we have automated sequences that follow to try to get in touch with this client, whether it's texts or emails, and then our intake can concentrate on actually making the phone calls. They don't need to manually press a button to send a text or manually send an email. All of that stuff is done in the background through automation. So, we've used SmartAdvocate from intake all the way to settlement disbursement, which I know, Paige, you're going to talk about. But anything you can do to cut steps out and streamline the process just makes your team more effective.
Absolutely. And then Sam, in the mass tort space, just a little bit different as far as the participation and the way that we have to communicate with clients on the mass tort side. So will you run us through your app that you guys have built, the different functionality that it possesses, and some of the positives that you've seen come from it in the last year?
Absolutely. So Paige, you're right on. We deal with larger groups where messaging goes out to a large group of these people at one time. We, again, just like Michael, we use this from kind of soup to nuts. It's from the intake all the way through settlement. And the app that was recently launched is actually an extension of the platform that already existed. The platform itself, obviously, we use Case Locker, and it is a phenomenal tool. Within that, the platform across all avenues, meaning you can use it on a computer, you can use it on your phones, you can use it on tablets. The app has the same functionality, can do everything that the actual program on your computer would use. So it looks the same, the functionality is the same, and even the security is the same. in this day and age of tech, there's always a lingering question, well, is this safe? This is a lot of my personal information, especially on the front end when you're leveling out, here's my date of birth, here's my address, my phone number, my social, here's my birth certificate, like a lot of different things are coming up. It's definitely cause for concern. There's built-in security, especially when you're dealing with the app. When you're on your phone and any mobile devices, you can fit it out with a fingerprint lock, you can fit it out with a PIN number. So if you have kids, the concern is they're not gonna be able to pick it up, grab on an app, and then just start going away. The case locker functionality, the app specifically, has really made it very easy and for us to communicate better with our clients. It's also allowed them to interact better in their case themselves. So for example, on the front end, like I mentioned, a lot of documents have to be uploaded, lien questionnaires up front, a lot of gathering of information. We can send documents and they can upload, take pictures, fill out, and send them back within that same app function. There are messaging programs within that app that allow us to do texting individually as well as do push notifications to those claimants, so they show up on their phone as a push notification once accepted, and they can get automatic updates on what's going on. If they want more specific or they want to chat specifically with one of our individual staff members or attorneys, they can send, there's a text option that they can do that individually where it's a part of their particular case. And this is all done. Also, that entire history of those questions and answers are saved and stored in that program. So they can always go back and re-review. It's truly phenomenal. What I will tell you, one of the things that I like, good comments that we've gotten back, is that it has made communication with our clients, which, as Michael said, is one of the biggest complaints you see. I don't think there's a law firm in any area that doesn't get that as a complaint the most. And it makes it instantaneous. So our ability to interact with our clients and get the information and interact with them is instantaneous, as opposed to having to wait for hard copy letters to go out or to go back and forth on emails where there might be some misunderstanding or misconstruing of information. When you're in a live scenario where you are talking with them back and forth instantaneously, it cuts out a lot of issues, and it also gives a level of customer service that the clients are imputing to you. Meaning when they feel like they're talking live to somebody, there's a very difference of, I'm completely blanking on the word and I'm sorry, but it's a level of communication that they're not used to and that they feel much more secure in than when it's going back and forth and having to wait. When you want an answer, if you have a question, you want that answer and you want it quickly. And this allows that. It provides that platform for it. So it's truly been an amazing tool. I think Michael's right. It is a tool that is used, and when used wisely, it is out of this world. It has helped significantly. Mm-hmm. This also is eliminated. I know in some practices, I can't speak for Michael, but I know in our practice, there's a lot of bulk emails and text messages that would used to go out to clients saying, hey, this is where we're at, this is what's going on, or if a court has initiated an order within an MDL thing, we can say, hey, this is an update of what's just happened. We are able to cut a lot of that out, which also cuts down on costs. So you're talking about stamps, postage, paper, all of those things are cut out. So it's economical as well as being efficient. And we're able to cut a lot of that out with this direct messaging that goes directly to these people. And it's truly has just been a wonder.
I think, Sam, to that end, the trend that we see where folks are getting into like these Facebook groups or on these forums digitally to come together, even though they're MDL claimants and they're all separate, they do kind of form mini classes together. And those are the folks that are going to be your squeaky wheels. Those are going to be the ones that come out with your bar complaints, and having a tool that you can communicate with them instantaneously, like you're describing, that eliminates the mystery and eliminates the ability to go out and for these claimants to coalesce like that and create problems where there aren't any.
It allows for a version of transparency from the client's point of view that is, I believe, and honestly, this week alone, and it's only Thursday, I have heard that from no less than 4 clients, that they want more transparency. And it's not that it's not there, it is, but the perception of it isn't. And when utilizing these tools, it actually lends to that quite a bit more, which is wonderful.
Absolutely. Claude, I want to shift to you and hear more about the SmartAdvocate platform and then your new annual release that's coming out here shortly.
Yeah, sure. It's a nice segue from what Michael and Sam were talking about, because those are some of the things that SmartAdvocate does and does well. You will find, and the theme, hopefully people are seeing, is communication, because in the legal field, for law firms, that's always been sort of a problem. All right, the perception, as you guys said, where the client doesn't believe they understand or are up to speed on what's going on. So client communication is always going to be a key, and using technology to do that will absolutely help you. Help you in several ways. So some of which were mentioned: efficiency. Where your staff you have the system do some of that heavy lifting, so to speak, the emails that go out, the text messages that go out, the communication that goes out from beginning to end, and then have your staff do other things. So having a system that can automate most of that process is the way to go. Putting in things like work plans, where your processes follow a certain path, nothing gets missed. Somebody didn't miss a step because you have work plans in place to help you to do that. Those are some of the things that SmartAdvocate does. One of the things that we're finding a lot of clients are enjoying using now are things like the client portal. Why? Because they can go into the client portal 24/7 and they can see exactly what's happening with their case. They don't have to guess. They don't have to get misinformation, which is one of the biggest problems some of us in the firms face, where client comes in because they hear something out there, they hear something on Facebook, they hear something on social media, which may or may not be the truth. Whereas now, with the systems such as SmartAdvocate, they can go in, or with the app that Sam's talking about, they get the information directly from their attorney. So they don't have to guess, they don't have to be misinformed. We cut down a lot of the nonsense and the back and forth where you now have to educate them separately. So those are some of the things that SmartAdvocate works with the firm to put in place and to do. And of course, on top of that, SmartAdvocate specifically, we are constantly on the cutting edge of technology, which the firm needs, right? We're constantly updating the product with new technology, things that come online, things that come on stream, but the law firms can make use of. Here's something that we always have to remember. Our clients, they're up on technology, right? They're now our mindset as a society is that instant communication, the instant gratification. And if they're not getting it from their firm, they're going to think something is missing. The text messages that Michael has talked about, and Sam, that's how it comes in. That's how they believe that they're being communicated with. You're sharing with them what's going on at the very moment it's happening. And that starts from intake, all right? Our firms that are using SmartAdvocate are having our clients or potential clients sign a retainer while they're on the phone. And that document is going to them for an e-signature while they're on the phone doing the intake. They sign it right there in a couple of seconds. That document is uploaded back to their file. Sam probably used similar technology, especially with the mass communication that you're dealing with in large scale in the mass tort arena, when you have a multi-district litigation, when you're not talking about 1 or 2 or 10 clients, but now you're talking about thousands. Think of the man hours your staff would have to put in to call all of those clients one by one to say, hey, we now have a release, we now have a settlement, and it's going to be a month, 2 months, or whatever before we start getting those checks out. Guess what? They're going to see that on television, that matter was settled, right? Right, Sam? And guess what they're going to do? They're going to start calling you, right?
Mhm.
Now you have thousands of them calling you, where you could have jumped the gun and you could have proactively communicated with them, telling them what's going on and what to expect. That's all automatic. That's what the firms needs to do.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In my experience, I have experience in the claims admin process before distribution, and more times than not, 9 times out of 10, if somebody called you and they were frustrated with the process, they just needed more information, and walking them through the process and explaining to them why they were where they were to begin with, it just quells the anxiety that these folks feel, especially as they ramp up towards the payment process, which is at the tail end of a journey that's taken them sometimes 5+ years.
Right.
to get through the settlement process. And that brings me to my next point, where I think that we all have an obligation, right? That this space has evolved and grown, and from a place of paper processing and settlement taking 5 years and disbursement and distribution taking another 2, we have an obligation to meet society where we best can. And I think that with COVID and our ability to transfer to a lot of Zoom hearings and DocuSign documents, it's provided us the opportunity, and that we have the obligation to seize it.
That's true. One quick point I'd like to make, Paige, is that we always hear of from firms, some of them who are very successful. We all know that. We have attorneys who've been practicing for 30 years. They've been very successful, and because of that, obviously very wealthy. And so to impress upon someone like that the benefit that they would get from using technology, sometimes it's a challenge, right? But you have to look at it, and the firm as a whole has to look at it from the improved efficiency, which that's going to lead to better client satisfaction, and that's going to lead to better ROI. So investing the technology and have those things at play and working for you is only to your benefit. It's absolutely only to your benefit. There's typically no downside. Look at and some of the things that the technology will allow you to do is to better scale your practice. Maybe right now you're only doing single event, but what if you want to start doing mass start 6 months, a year from now, right? Have a system in place that will grow with you and be able to, go to the next level, go to the next area of practice quite often seamlessly. So those are some of the things that technology will allow you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd just like to add to that is that, the people that are on this webinar probably are, using technology already. But I think where people need to look at is you don't know what else is out there and what can be done. I do most of the technology at my firm because I can take a look at, I know all the legal processes from running my firm all these years, but I also personally am invested in the technology. And that's not necessarily true in most firms. You've got lawyers that practice law, but you need to be able to work with someone on the technology side and learn what other firms are doing and what possibilities there are out there. You might think that whatever case management system you're working on right now, or whatever technology you're using is great, it's cutting edge, but you don't even know what else is out there, what other firms are doing. And so right. Webinars like this, you may hear something one of us says and says, wow, I never even thought about doing that. Go back to your team or your whoever's your IT provider or your case management system and say, hey, I heard this great idea. Can we do that here? And it can be done. I mean, there's very little that technology can't address in the legal sphere right now.
One quick example, Michael. Going back just briefly to the concept of where your firm, you're primarily doing single event practice, but how many of our listeners and how many of the firms out there who are like that, but are not leveraging the current technology that they have to provide additional income? For example, if you're a single event type practice, are you using your current data that you have in the system to reach other potential clients? What if you want to be able to reach all of your clients who perhaps were in the armed services and were at Camp Lejeune, right? How can you reach those clients? They may have been a client that came to your office who had an auto accident, right? But now you can use the current technology that you have, hopefully, and be able to get a list of all the clients, let's say, that served at Camp Lejeune. Reach out to them. And even if this is not an area that you practice in, form an allegiance or a co-counselor arrangement or referral arrangement with a firm that does. And now you have a whole host or list of potential clients that you could refer to a firm such as Sam's firm that does mass tort, where now, guess what? Passive income costs you nothing or little or nothing. So those are some of the things that you can leverage technology to do not necessarily having to go out and get a new system, but potentially the current system that you have might be able to do that right now.
If I can, I'd actually like to piggyback on something both Claude and Michael said. The first is essentially data mining, which is data that's already in your system that you have. That's one of the wonderful things about technology. It's once it's there, it's keep, it's how you house it. And you always have access to that data down the road. It's definitely something you want to take advantage of, and something that I will tell you that we absolutely do. It is a resource that you should never overlook. And I think Claude's right. I think a lot of people do overlook that area, and it's something that shouldn't be. The thing I wanted to talk about that Michael said that I completely agree with is every technology, most of the people on here actually use technology. They understand the need for it. They understand what it works and how they would like to use it. What I will say is there are probably ways that you can use the technology you either already have or look outside of what you already have to see what you need to make that work for you. Just because a platform appears on the surface that it might not work for exactly what you want, that is the beauty of technology. It is constantly evolving. It is constantly being modified. I know that with our platform, Case Locker, and with the app, we can actually tweak exactly what we need it to do. We can change it like, well, this is working, but it's not working exactly how we want. We want to add some functionality to this. It can be done, and that's the beauty of technology. And you can really, it's so customizable in so many ways, and that's really great. I think every firm, every company, the way you practice and the way you get clients and the way you function with clients, it can all be modified for what you're looking for. And I think that's the beauty of this. And I think it's only going to get better and better as we go forward. So, for example, my needs on our platform could be significantly different than Michael's, but there's going to be some staples that run through and parallel in everybody's practice: communication, distribution, documentation, data housing. All of these things are the same for everybody. It's just how you utilize them and how you upload. So, and it's astronomical the way it can be done. I will tell you from our platform with Case Locker, when it first started, I looked at it like, I always look at it, but I'm a little bit of a cynic, always. I always look at new technology like, is it really doing everything? It really did. And I couldn't believe it. And a lot of the technology that I've been working with since, that's exactly what's happened. Consistency, I found, and Mike, you can touch on this, Claude, you as well. Even Paige, I know you, I know what you're going to say, but the technology and having it all look the same when you get onto a platform in its various forms, having the ease of use for customers, because the clients might not fully understand everything they're getting into, but if it looks the same on the different platforms they're using it on, it's user friendly, it's better for them, it's easier for them, and it makes your life significantly easier down the road. I think that's one of the keys as well when you're talking about an interface with a client.
And ask your current case management provider. Hey, I'd like to do this. Can it do it? How can I do it? So make sure you use the resources that you have at your disposal, that the person who your current case management system is might be able to help you. Also, maybe that system doesn't have a function now that you want. That's something that most case management systems, certainly the better ones out there, can add for you. All right. And if it's something you want, guess what? Chances are there's another firm out there who want the same process or the same feature as well. So don't discount that. Speak up, talk to your colleagues, talk to other firms, talk to people like Michael or Sam, who are in the law firms. Hey, what are you guys doing? What are you using? How are you using it? I'm pretty sure you guys are happy to share that information with your colleagues. All they have to do is just ask, and you could set them in the right direction and give them ideas on how they can, move forward, implementing and using the current technology they have, and also what to look for out there that they might not have right now.
Yeah, I love Claude with SmartAdvocate. They have a little button on there for suggestions. And I'll be working around and trying to, come up with something, and I'll hit the button and say, hey, it would be great if, fill in the blank. And I've been with you guys since 2017, I guess. And in the updates that we've gotten, hey, look, we got texting features, right? We got the ability to use a SureSign or electronic signature within SmartAdvocate without having to go out. So all these things that have been added over the years, all come from ideas. And I may send something out and say, hey, I'd really like to do this. Is there a way to do it? And then the next version comes out, and bam, there it is. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Michael. I think that there's a presumed rigidity when it comes to technology, and that there probably has been historically, but that we're different now. It's different now, and the way that we apply technology, especially in the legal space, we know that no two firms are the same. So I want to quickly touch on Pathway and the platform that we've built. So we've noticed the trends as it pertains to disbursement, specifically in the class space. They have developed technology that allows for digital payment selections to be available to class claims. But in the mass tort space, it's a little bit different because there are additional release documentation and things that have to be signed before funds can leave qualified settlement funds. So the way that the process currently works is a closing statement is prepared for a claimant when their case becomes eligible for distribution. That is transmitted to them, maybe via DocuSign, maybe via hard copy mail. But then as that information comes back signed and the claimants have made different selections on how they want to receive their payment, there is manual data entry that's being done there. And paper checks are then being issued to these mass tort claimants on the MDL side. We came in and saw the trend in the digital payment space and the class space and applied it to the mass tort space. And our Pathway platform seamlessly combines that closing statement signature process. We also provide an educational opportunity to claimants for settlement planning. Those claimants that are receiving tens of thousands of dollars, if I came into that money, I would want to understand how to protect it. And so we're providing an additional layer of financial justice to these claimants where they can become educated. And if they do want to receive some consultation relative to planning or preserving their government benefits, on our Pathway platform, they can click a button and they'll automatically be routed into a queue where someone from Milestone's team will reach out to them. And then from there, they move on the same platform in the same process through to a digital payment menu where they can elect how to receive their payment. We have Zelle, we have PayPal, we have ACH direct deposit. A claimant can still elect to receive a paper check if they'd like. And then we developed a custom MasterCard product that can be sent to the claimant as a prepaid MasterCard product. And this allows us to reach the unbanked or underbanked population, which I think has been a severely underserviced population in this space. When we're sending tens of thousands of dollars to hurt people, and then they're going to an Ace Cash Express and having to pay 10, 12% to even access their own settlement money. So that is the platform that we've designed, seeing the trends in the disbursement space. And so to that end, on the communication piece, if you can send somebody an email that tells them their settlement is ready for disbursement, they can read through the different figures and fees that have been assessed against their case, and in the same moment, select and check, click a button on how they want to receive their payment. The power is back in their hands instead of signing a document and saying that you should receive a paper check in the mail within 30 days. There's no communication in between your signature and your receipt of the check, and you don't have a choice. So that is what Milestone is doing in the technology space. And to piggyback off of what you were talking about, Claude, with the developments in the tech space, we are really agile and flexible and want to come in and understand what your firm needs specific to disbursement and build a process and a system around your firm's current processes and systems. So we can come in and establish really significant or serious integrations with an app like Sam's describing, or we can automate reporting and have that provided to your firm at a consistent basis and to an SFTP, for example. We have just a wide range of variability there that we can cater to.
Paige, that's a game changer. That's seriously what Milestone is doing. I mean, that's why we're so excited to partner with you as one of the integrations that SmartAdvocate does. It really is a game changer. There are a couple of things that you said that is so true. The underserved population, not that we don't want the check cashing places to go out of business. That's not our intent. But you think of a person who now has an amount from a settlement, and that to be able to quickly get access to those funds once they've been released by the firm, a day makes a huge difference to someone like that, where they don't have to go and wait for the funds to become available, or then have to pay on top of it to cash a check or to get the funds in liquid form that they're going to need to use. So the stuff that you're doing, it's just way way ahead of the game. It's huge. I'm pretty sure it's going to be embraced wholeheartedly, and of course the clients that are going to benefit from it, it's a huge cross section of society. It's great stuff. It's great stuff what you're doing.
Yeah, Mike, you were describing walking somebody through, I think it was you, Michael, signing something. And, I did that just yesterday with a claimant on Pathway, and it took us less than 2 minutes to talk through it. She was just an elderly woman, but populations like that, even being able to access something like Pathway and walk through it, and there being such an ease of use there, I think that that's a game changer as well.
Well, with settlement process in particular, it has to be done the same way every single time. There's got to be consistency. You got to account for every penny, and automation and technology is great for quality control, right? So you're having people do the same thing the same way every single time, and it's done right. And so whether it's creating a set of templates that you use, document templates, email templates, text templates, the disbursement process, if you can create and leverage technology, and Sam, same thing with what you're doing, is right. There are processes out there and you want them to be used the same way consistently. It helps to avoid mistakes as well. And in the disbursement process, you can't have mistakes.
Absolutely.
It's great, Michael. I mean, in the mass start arena, one of the things that SmartAdvocate does with respect to settlement is something that looks as simple or innocuous as the common benefit fund and the fees that are charged, or the percentage that is charged for expenses. Now, being able to put that settlement amount in SmartAdvocate and it automatically calculate that for you every time the same way based on the percentage, that saves the staff a whole lot of time having to do that manually, every time to do that calculation. Those are some of the things that you could benefit from using that type of technology. I mean, if you're in that type of practice. Being forward looking and finding things like that, that's going to help the firm, right? Your case management system can do things like that. That will help the firm. It goes all the way back to efficiency and the cost of your time and the time of the people that would have to do that manually.
Exactly. Relying on technology, I mean, from a vendor perspective, it allows us at Milestone to come in really competitively with our administrative cost. Our standard price to implement Pathway and to do administration and disbursement through it is $200 per claimant. Which is well below the market standard. And that is because of what you're describing, Claude, how we rely on the technology, we rely on the data, the click data that we amass, as opposed to human data entry and the human error that is just a natural part of that process when it's manual.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if we have any other kernels that we can talk through. Last week I ordered pizza for my kids, and for the first time, the delivery driver handed me his cell phone to sign on his cell phone with my finger, which has never happened before. And I was like, see, even the pizza guy delivering my pepperoni pizza is living in this digital age. When we can go down the street to the grocery store and use our cell phones to pay for groceries if you left your wallet at home, the fact that at least in the disbursement realm of settlement, that we would be relying on an antiquated process, and the only option that folks really have today is to receive a paper check in the mail. I just think that we have an obligation to as an industry, to try and meet the society.
Yep.
If I can add on to that. So one of the things, Paige, that you had said, I think is absolutely key moving forward, and like the next steps and the next levels in furthering this technology and this integration between firms and clients and the vendors that help you out in different situations. And you know, within Mass Torts, obviously, I know Paige, I know Claude, I know their products. I know many vendors out there, I know all of their products. And we've used multiple. So what I can tell you is what I think is key going forward at this point is being able to integrate whatever program or platform that you use as case management, and being able to integrate that almost automatically with automatic updates, and being able to seamlessly integrate those two programs with whatever vendor you wind up using. And there's security there, and that gets worked through, but that in and of itself, that's where the seamlessness comes in. That's where less mistakes happen, because it's more of the two systems talking to each other, integrating with each other, and automating it. And that's really where you're going to get the speed, the efficiency, and the accuracy that I think maybe we've been working towards. And I do think that is the next step. I think there are a lot of vendors out there like Milestone that are doing that and really at the forefront of that. I think it's coming up, and I think that's really the next logical step for where we're all going to be.
That's
I'm really
true.
glad.
Yeah.
I'll give me just a second, Claude. I'm so glad that you brought that up, Sam, because where your firm is and what vendors you like to work with relative to lien administration or claims administration, we know them and work with them well, and can come in and plug into their reporting, create automation, map those templates that Michael was speaking to, and build essentially a system from case management, liens, through to disbursement that is almost, if not completely, automated. And that lets your staff get off of the phone with these status questions from claimants, you know, justifiably so, calling in, wanting to know where their payments are. And it allows them to get back to litigating, reading through legal documentation, and settling more cases. And go ahead, Claude.
No, I was about to say that it is so important that the system that you're using easily integrate with others, because the firm, Sam mentioned it, you did, Paige, and so did Michael, that you know there are other applications out there that you're accustomed to using, and nobody's saying that you should stop. In fact, you should look for a system that will incorporate those other systems with yours, so that you like that web chat, or you like that you know, records retrieval company, or you like that, you know, the accounting program and so forth. Yeah, keep them. Let's integrate them with your case management system, and then they all work together. And you know, the learning curve is lower because you already know that other system, so the learning curve is going to be lower. And if it's something that you like, you want to keep it, and so you should. Just integrate it with the other systems that you have. That's also the trend, by the way. That's a big trend today. Michael talked about it a little bit. We originally didn't have texting, and it was done separately, but now they're integrated. So that's going to be the trend for most firms going forward. Integrate with all the other different types of systems out there, so that you can have one seamless system to run your firm.
Now, it used to be complicated. You'd have to hire programmers to have the programs communicate with each other. You know, now it's all done with APIs, which are pretty easy. But if this is beyond you, what I would recommend, there's another program called Zapier out there that basically has two programs talking to each other. You don't need to master it, but you should go on an independent contractor website like Upwork or something like that, and hire somebody that knows Zapier, and have them come in and take a look at your systems. They don't need to have legal training. They understand about efficiencies and programs talking to each other, and they can give you suggestions on how your firm can better operate more efficiently. You know, don't expect, you know, not everybody has got, you know, McCready as a lawyer in a law firm with these ideas. So go out and try to find some independent contractors. Hey, you know, here are the programs that I'm using, whether it's Microsoft Office products or Google Document or Google program or suite. Here's my case management. Here's my intake system. My DocuSign or AssureSign. How can we integrate these and have all of these communicate with each other? It can be done. It doesn't have to be done by you, but all these are possibilities out there.
And that's a good place to start, Michael, right? Because we're talking about a lot of things here. A lot of our audience may not be that tech savvy, and they might not be a little bit overwhelmed. Where do I start? And you just hit the nail on the head. That's a place to start. Start with what you have and talk to those folks, all right? Talk to, your bar associations and the forums that you go into, like this one, and get the information, and you start there. Start small. You don't have to, off the bat, quite often you're not able to do all the things that we've been talking about for the last hour or so, right? But start where you are. Start with the program that you have, and talk to your colleagues. How can we get this done? What are you doing? What's the best place to go? Those are the little steps you take, and then eventually you'll get to the point where you'd want to be.
Sorry, go ahead, Michael.
No, I was going to say, I've got two little nuggets to pass along. One is I just got everybody in my firm. It's called a dot card. It's a business card, but it goes on the back of your phone, and you touch your phone up to somebody else's phone, and it automatically downloads all your contact information into their contacts. Everybody in my firm has it, and loved it. Just called a dot card, D-O-T. The second thing, and that you can get those easily. The second thing that we've been doing for about 2 years now is we will send a text, and it's got a V card attachment to it, and it allows them to click a button, and it will download our contact information into their cell phone. And what we've done is as the name, we have attorney, we have lawyer, and we have the name of the firm. So 5 years from now, they might not remember McCready was their lawyer, but they can look on their phone under lawyer or attorney, and bam, there we are. So we try every lead that comes in, we're sending a text out to them. Hey, we can't help you with this case because, well, it's not a case. But keep us in mind in the future. Here's our, we're going to send you a text with our contact information. Just download it onto your phone by clicking here. And anytime you need a lawyer, you have our information. And, that's a simple nugget that's really easy to do, and it's paid great dividends for us.
Awesome. And now you have a lead for life.
Right.
Exactly.
They're in the phone. They're in the phone, and that's where everybody's information is these days.
Right on. I was going to add on to something that Claude was saying, and it was, if you don't know where to start, a lot of times, especially if you're not very comfortable or familiar with technology, everybody who's probably on here works with some vendor. They work with a case management program they already have. They work with other vendors that they know, that they're comfortable with, they have contacts with. Reach out to those vendors. Reach out and be like, what is the technology that you guys are using now? Have you had any successful integration of other technology? Has this improved in any way? Are you working with any other vendors or technology that you're working with them? That's a great place to start. At the very least, I guarantee you do not understand the full amount of technology capabilities that your current vendors actually have. I know that I did not, and I have made it my point to learn that. So that's a good first place to start. If it's something that it's a comfort level thing, start with what you know and then branch out from there. You'll get a good idea of what they have and what they don't and what you're looking for, and if they can provide it, and if not, others can. So it's just, as again, little nugget, good place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. I just blanked on what I was going to say, Samantha, because I was listening to you, and you're brilliant. If anyone on the call is having curiosity around disbursement and pathway specifically, please reach out to our team. We're passionate about this. We're passionate about building it. We're passionate about what it does for the plaintiff claimant, not only in minimizing administrative costs, but also just getting dollars in their hands faster and in the smartest way possible. So please reach out to us. I would love to sit down with your office and just understand and investigate what systems you currently use. And if Pathway isn't the right fit for you, we'll help you get to the right next person who can help you.
And Paige, I don't know if you did share, but I'd be more than happy. Just put my email out for everybody to reach out to me if they have questions, SmartAdvocate related or just processes and technology in general. Always there to help. Listen, when I talk to other plaintiffs' lawyers, I tell them, listen, I don't look at you as my competition, okay? We're not in competition with each other. Our competition is the insurance companies and the corporations. So anything that I can do to help you in your battle for your client and against the insurance company, there's no secrets here. And that's been my philosophy. So anything that I can do to offer and help, I'm always available.
And I must say that Michael has been, oops, sorry, Kim. Sorry, Sam.
Okay, I was just going to mimic exactly what Michael was saying. If anybody has any questions, again, Paige, feel free to put my email out there. Any questions about, obviously, we don't use SmartAdvocate, but we do use Case Manager, which is our case, my God, Case Locker. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Case Locker, that is available. So if anybody has any questions or any information or just wants to talk to stuff, I'm available on here. I kind of feel the exact same way Michael does, so.
I was just about to say that we at SmartAdvocate tap Michael quite often on areas of best practice, believe it or not, because he, why reinvent the wheel? He's done it. He's been very successful at it. His firm runs like a well-oiled machine simply because of the things that he's talked about and he's put in there. Guess what? If it works for Michael and his firm, we at SmartAdvocate believe it will work well for other firms too. So Michael has been so kind to share those processes with us at SmartAdvocate, and believe it or not, we've implemented those in our automated procedures and work plans because they are so valuable. And he's been masterful at it and doing that sort of thing. Where you don't have to do the work if you don't need to, right? Have the system do it for you. So, and we can pass that information on to those who might ask as well from the SmartAdvocate perspective.
Yeah, and listen, none of this, I don't want it to sound like it's cookie cutter. Every firm has their own way of doing things, and the way that I do it in my firm, probably won't work for another firm. There are concepts, there are processes, there are best practices, but everything needs to be customized for your own system. I've had people say, Mike, can we have your SmartAdvocate? And I have nothing against it, but it won't work for them, right? We have our statuses and we have our templates, and are there things that you can borrow? Absolutely. But what you need to do as a firm is look at how you do things and how you can apply technology to them to improve from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, everyone. In closing today, I just want to thank everyone's time, everyone who joined and listened in today, and then my panelists. I think that this is really powerful stuff, and it's just the beginning of the conversation as these technologies become more pervasive in the space and how we do our business in this industry. I have a feeling that we will be meeting again soon.
Great. Thanks, Paige. Thanks, Claude. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Paige. Always good to see you.
Great afternoon.
Thanks again. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.